we were coloring actually. And so he just happened to grab the black crayon and we were coloring, you know, with red and blue and brown and all these other colors. And so he holds up and says, "Daddy, we're black?" And he says, "Well, we're brown. We're not black, we're brown." I said, "Okay, so we're brown. But just know that some people may call us black or call us, you know, other things. But as long as you know who and what you are, and you stand firm in that, it won't matter."
Hi, this is Summer Rain, correspondent for RXG Exclusives. Make sure to like, comment, and hit subscribe on our YouTube channel so you never miss out. RXG Exclusives, hosted by Robert X. Golphin, now playing.
You may have seen him somewhere on stage in Amen Corner with Tony Award nominee and Screen Actors Guild Award winner Danielle Brooks, Coming Up for Air with Tony winner Tanya Pinkins, or The Mountaintop with Liz Morgan. Or maybe you've seen him on the screen in the multi-award winning film Francis of Brooklyn, or the lauded film Brothers Incorporated with friend of the show and past guest Nakia Dillard of Black Lightning. My guest today is an accomplished and talented actor, writer, singer, and songwriter with a slew of credits to his name. Brandon Jones joins us next, right here on RXG Exclusives.
We must open up our minds and take a look inside. I bet we find we hold all the answers to life.
You're watching RXG Exclusives.
Oh, they tried to keep us away.
So Brandon, it's great to reconnect in real time. I first became acquainted with you and your work when I was pursuing my MFA in screenwriting from Spalding University in Louisville, Kentucky. And a bunch of us students went to see a touring play called Re-Entry, which was about a group of soldiers trying to reacclimate themselves into civilian life. And really, that's not even a synopsis that does it justice, because it was a rich and complex, layered work. But I remember sitting there in the audience thinking, that brother can act. and I looked at the playbill. I said, I've got to see what his other credits are. But
Right.
I want to ask first, what is it about acting and music that fills you with such joy and passion?
Man, it's just a way of being able to connect with people without having to actually physically touch them or be in the same room with them. You know, we doing film, television, or even doing music, you can listen to somebody, you can see them on a screen and connect in a way that through the arts that you can't really do in any other form or medium. And for me, I know when I got, the thing that inspired me to want to be an actor was watching Glory in the 4th grade. I'll never forget it. You may think like Glory as a 4th grader, but yes, I watched that movie and I was just so inspired by the performances, all the way from Matthew Broderick to Andre to Denzel, obviously Morgan Freeman. Everybody in that movie just inspired me. And musically, it's the same thing. I grew up in a household that was full of music. My mom and my dad played everything from jazz to classic rock to blues, you know, R&B. My brothers listened to early hip hop. So just the arts have just been around me ever since I was little, and I couldn't get away from it.
Clearly, if you were watching Glory in the 4th grade, you were a very mature individual.
I was, man. You know, I just grew up in a household. I'm the youngest of 4, and I'm the youngest by 9 years. So I guess I kind of had to mature a little earlier than most kids my age. But yeah, that movie just touched me and spoke to me.
Now, this pandemic has rendered Broadway and theaters across the nation dark. You're a bona fide thespian. How do you contend with empty stages and empty audiences? I mean, this had to have been a big blow to that passion and joy that you have.
It was, but thankfully we've been doing Zoom readings, and actually I just finished doing a Zoom production of a wonderful, beautifully written show called Meet You at the Galaxy Diner by Gina Femia. So shout out to her and to New Light Theater Company, and to the Tank here in New York. But yeah, we've just been trying to stay busy. I've been writing, I've been playing music, and just trying to keep those creative juices flowing, you know, as much as possible. But hopefully one day we'll be able to get back into the theaters and connect with audiences live and in person, because there's just nothing like that energy that you get from an audience. in person. But we've been trying to stay busy and doing the best we can with it.
As a fellow actor, I don't know how we can have theater, especially black box theater and things of that sort. I mean, theater is so intimate with social distancing. How does that work?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think you're starting to see in certain specials, like Dave Chappelle's 846, where you have a couple people sitting together and you have some space between there. So maybe there's some way they can do that. Take out a couple of seats in the house, perhaps. I don't know. But what about the people on stage? How do you protect us?
Right.
That's a big issue. So hopefully there's people, in the higher ups are thinking about that, coming up with some sort of plan to keep everybody safe. But in the meantime, we just find new ways, whether it's via film, Zoom, whatever it is, to keep doing what we do.
And the entertainment industry in particular is a challenging one, to say the least. It can be ruthless, it can be ugly, it also can be rewarding and life-changing. But no matter what our accomplishments are as artists, our social media posts tend to be the highlight reel of our life.
Yes.
It's rare that the outside world sees all of our failures and the rejection. 99% of the time we're met with rejection. It's that 1% that we're on the red carpet smiling. And this includes celebrities too, who may appear to be on top of the world, but you never know what people are going through. How do you personally manage the obstacles and the rejection, the struggle that I assume crosses your path as well?
Oh, I'm exhausted. Last night was a rough night. My mind was just thinking. You know how it is, your brain just gets so loud. I couldn't turn it off.
I don't shy away from it. For a while there, I was doing this series called, Life of a Working Artist, where I would actually show the highs and lows, the ups and downs of being a working actor here in New York City.
All right, so here we are in the rehearsal studio. We're going to do a rehearsal today for the trailer. It's really exciting.
It was a great show, by the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. But there were times, certain episodes where I would show that, having a hard time of being rejected or things not coming to fruition the way you saw them or the way you visioned them or the way you planned. And that happens to a lot of us. Like you said, we post the highlights, but we don't post the struggle. And I thought it was just as important, if not more so, especially for the younger kids, to see that without all the hard work, you don't get those highlights. And without those struggles, you don't get to those highlights. So, I try to keep it as honest and as real as possible on social media, with some exceptions. Obviously, you don't want to put too much personal business out there, but I don't shy away from it. I'm just me.
Yes. Some people like to post about their bathroom activities, and it's just like, I'm not interested.
Right. You keep that to yourself.
Yeah. Well, I started making movies when I was a kid, and innately my mission was to create opportunities for myself and for others, and that's extended throughout my career. You can't wait for the industry to hand you an opportunity.
Right.
You're a content creator. You wrote and co-starred in a beautiful short film called Wildflowers, which was, I'm sure, an actor's dream, because you really get to play.
I understand that if someone sees me out here alone with you, they'll think I'm thinking and feeling all the things you thought and felt in your journal, or worse.
Do you find it vital that you create your own work? And also, is there an importance of all artists creating their own work?
Absolutely. I think because as we mature and as we age and we just go through life, the things that you want change. And maybe the way you see yourself or the things that you want out of your career, or in terms of just, different types of projects you want to do, that changes. And so for me as a content creator, right now, I'm only interested in doing things that speak to my soul and to my passions and the messages that I want to send. And I want to do work that's, making people conscious of social issues. I want to bring to the forefront discussions that need to be had that may not be easy to be had, but also that can be entertaining in a way. Whether it be doing song-alogues, taking lyrics of songs and doing them as monologues, but they're socially conscious songs, or whether it is, writing my own scripts and producing them and putting them together as a short film, or whatever the case may be. I just think it's important that we use our platform to touch people and to really make something of it, and not just be fluff or purely for entertainment's sake.
Right. Often in this business, there is a crabs in a barrel mentality. Every man or woman for himself. What encouragement can you offer fellow artists as it relates to not being afraid that another shine will dim their glow? Because I think collectively we all can do so much more together, especially people of color, but no matter what your background is.
Right. I think what's really helped me, and what I tell young people, is what's meant for you is yours. You know, you don't have to worry about your buddy, you know, getting the shine before you or after you. It's not a competition. Be in competition with yourself. And as long as you're staying true to yourself and what it is that you want, what is meant for you is yours, and it will come when it's meant for you to have it. And it may be yours for as long as it's meant to be yours. But you can't really worry about that, because you'll worry yourself into the grave, man. You know, and you'll get away from doing what brought you to the profession in the first place. You'll start doing things that aren't really you, that don't suit you, just so that you can try to one up somebody. So just stay true to yourself, and you know, it's gonna come to you.
Now, you're the father of a 3-year-old son. I'd be remiss not to ask your thoughts on the civil unrest. It must give you pause to consider the type of conversations you might have to have with him when he's of age.
Yeah, man, he hit me the other day with, he asked me the question, so Daddy, we're black?
Oh, wow.
And, you know, for a 3-year-old to ask you that, you know, and we were just sitting down playing, we were coloring actually. And so he just happened to grab the black crayon, and we were coloring, you know, with red and blue and brown and all these other colors. And so he holds it up and says, Daddy, we're black? And he had this look on his face as though, like, you know, we don't match this crayon, you know, maybe we're brown. And so I said, well, yeah, baby, you know, people have called us black, yes, but what do you think? What do you see of all these colors? Which one do you, you know, is closest to you? And he says, well, we're brown. We're not black, we're brown. I said, okay, so we're brown, but just know that some people may call us black or call us, you know, other things. But as long as you know who and what you are, and you stand firm in that, it won't matter. Just be who you are. And we hugged it out. And of course, the 3-year-old doesn't understand, you know, be who you are. But having those conversations at 3 in this climate right now, I mean, that's the stuff that we're being forced to do because of what's happening in the world. And I think that we all need to really take a look at that and look at how we're educating our children, because this is learned behavior. Everything that's happening is learned behavior. And so we need to uneducate ourselves of the lies that we've been told, and re-educate ourselves and re-educate our children, so that in generations to come, hopefully they don't have the problems that we're enduring in the current climate.
Yeah. And, you know, believe it or not, we're only a few months away from the end of this historical and impossible to define year. 2020 continues to endure a storm of crises, health, race, politics, just to name a few. Obviously, the last several months have been arduous and emotional and draining, and certainly our mental and physical health has been affected, and maybe even continues to be affected. Where do we go from here? Where do you go from here? Where do we as a people go from here? How do we manage all this?
Oh man, I think what we have to do is just come together, and you know, it's okay to, if all lives matter, then it shouldn't bother you that I'm saying my life matters. If all lives truly matter, you know, if that's what your stance is, right? So I think we need to get away from this division, get away from this separation, but at the same time, have knowledge of self and empower each other, you know, lift each other up. And knowledge is key. Knowledge is power, man. So the more you know. If you don't know something about somebody, that doesn't mean be afraid of them. Get to know them. Ask some questions. You know, if you feel like, oh, I'm afraid of you because of stereotypes, well, why don't you go and talk to them? Because that's what we need. We're not going to get anywhere, you know, doing our own thing. Obviously, that doesn't work. Being in, you know, separate groups and all this other stuff, and hating each other and shooting at one another and killing each other, and it's not getting us anywhere. History has proven that. So hopefully we can find a way to unify, whether it be as, you know, within our own communities or as a nation. We have to find a way to get through this, because 2021, if it's taught us anything, that, you know, it's time to come together, man, and cut all the nonsense out. And as for where I go, I just go forward with that mindset. you know, of just really trying to reach out, connect with people, try to learn as much as I possibly can. I recognize and understand that I don't know everything about everything. And yeah, man, just keep an open mind.
Now, your singing and songwriting career, I know you've released music in the past. Can you tell me a little bit about that part of your background and what might be coming up next for you vocally?
So I've been writing music for, man, as long as I can remember. It's been, you know, started out doing music actually as a child, but I never really released anything up until maybe 2011 was the first time that via Reverb Nation, because I wasn't confident and comfortable in my voice, because my voice has been this way since I was about 14. And so, you know, it's just the weird thing, you know, who's the young kid with the very white voice? That's odd. And so I finally built up the courage to release an EP about 2013 called Shot of Bourbon, and shot a music video for it and everything like that back in my hometown in Paris, Kentucky.
Give me one bourbon, one scotch, and one beer, and tell me, Mac, where all the women been here?
And a few years after that, put out my first LP, Old Soul, and really enjoyed that project. And I'm actually working on some new material now during this pause, so hopefully I can get that completed and released within the next, hopefully the next 6 months or so. Got a couple of people I want to play on it. But yeah, man, just trying to stay busy and you know, put it out there, get that content out there. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff to write about too, you know. So
this is true. Now's the time to unleash every emotion and feeling you have, right?
That's right.
And you mentioned your upbringing in Kentucky. How did we go from Kentucky to the Big Apple?
Man, I'll try to make this as short as possible.
That's a loaded question.
It is a loaded question. It is. I'm trying to figure out how do I tell this one. So I started out playing sports and, you know, playing music as a kid. And then when I got to high school, I was a really good student. You know, I was good at, you know, of being a student. I was good at that, of just knowing how to I guess, use my time effectively and so that I could study and get good grades. I knew how to do that. But I wanted an easy A because I was playing basketball and football. And I said, well, let me take drama class because that's probably an easy A. And
that's what they always say.
Yeah, that's what they always say, right? So I went in there, and the drama teacher, Miss Norvell, you know, love her, and I thank her so much for pointing me on this path. And she's retiring this year, so congratulations to her. But yeah, she suggested that I go to this, and I auditioned and got accepted when I was 16. And they had a college and career day my senior year, and I auditioned for all the schools and got a scholarship offer from CCM, the College Conservatory of Music at University of Cincinnati. And I said, okay, that's cool. They accepted me. And then I auditioned for Juilliard when I flew to Chicago to audition for them. And I was an alternate for acceptance there. And so I said, well, I guess I'll go to CCM because I have a place to go. And I've been doing it ever since. And I stopped playing sports because I got bitten by the bug and I couldn't get away from it. So I moved here after Showcase. I've been here ever since, man. And I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
I've always said that if a person can succeed in theater, they can probably succeed on the screen because there's a very definitive discipline with theater, as you know. How did you transition from stage to screen, and what do you enjoy more? Or is that like asking who your favorite child is?
It kind of is. It kind of is. Because they're both different. You know, they're both different. You love them both for their own individual reasons, you know, because they are so different. But how I transitioned from stage to screen, I was just hungry. I just wanted to work. You know, acting is just something that I need to be doing it no matter where it is, whether I'm on the stage or whether I'm, you know, on screen. And so the opportunity presented itself. You know, I had studied acting for the camera in college. And so I had sort of gotten my feet wet and, you know, learned some technical things. But when I moved here, I just jumped at every opportunity that came my way and got lucky. So yeah, I can't say that I love one more than the other. If I had to choose a child, I would probably choose theater just because I did it first. And there's nothing like getting that energy from the audience every night, and every time it's new. You know, you can do a bunch of takes and get it right, get it perfect on camera, but sometimes in theater it's better when it's not perfect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And with theater, you can only revise your performance the following night. So
That's right.
instead of 15 million takes on set. So but there's definitely a different sort of energy that you get when the audience is there. An audience can actually affect your performance, good or bad.
That's right.
So,
Yep.
how can people support you? Website, social media? How can they reach out?
Follow me on Instagram at The Real Boogie Jones, and I'm also on Twitter at Boogie Jones 30. I also have a YouTube channel, but that handle is a little too long right now for me to. I don't even have it memorized. But yeah, I'm going to be publishing my website pretty soon, and it's brandonjonesonline.com. So be on the lookout for that, where you can find, you know, all my videos and music will be in one place. So yeah, that's me, my man.
And if there's anything I didn't ask or something that you want the viewers to know, the microphone is yours.
Oh, thank you. Well, first, I feel like I should be interviewing you because I'm a huge fan of your work, man. And just, you know, I follow you. I've been following you ever since we met, and I'm just a huge fan of your work, and I just really love what you're doing. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of this series. I'm honored. I'm truly honored. But if I could say anything to the people, it's just like I was saying, what's meant for you is yours. Don't worry about what the next person is doing. Stay in your lane, do your thing, and go 100% every day. Just try to be better. You know, whether it's being a better dad, whether it's being a better mom, a better brother or sister, whatever the case may be, better actor, singer. Put in the work, and the work will eventually bring in the fruits of the labor. So yeah, and love one another. Love yourselves. That's all I got.
Well, thank you, Brandon Jones, for an uplifting and positive interview. This is what we need right now. It can be so daunting to look at all the things going on in this world. So I appreciated actor, singer, songwriter, and writer, Brandon Jones. And thank you for watching RXG Exclusives. Make sure that you register to vote. I'm Robert X. Golphin, and I'll see you next time. Brandon, thank you, man. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, my man.
Make sure to like, comment, and hit subscribe on our YouTube channel so you never miss out. RXG Exclusives, hosted by Robert X. Golphin, now playing.